Right, so I have returned once again today to deliver yet another episode of Inuyashiki. Inuyashiki, I think is how you pronounce it correctly. Was not spooked by my voice. Today is a good day. Today is a good day. So yeah, so we left off last time. We actually introduced Ichiro's character and actually what happened to him. I'd admit the first episode was pretty freaking good. Like I would say the first 10 minutes made the whole entire episode worth it, because the first 10 minutes were actually fantastic, and how it's all done, how it's all set up, and how it's all structured and actually then portrayed was freaking amazing. I was like, wow, they did that very freaking damn well. So it made the whole entire episode worth it, to be honest. Maybe the subsequent 10 minutes after that, or 12, I think, because Amazon runs on 22. So the subsequent 10, 12 minutes afterwards was it was all right. The first 10 were actually fantastic. It was very, very sad. It was actually just really freaking well done. Like how they did the whole entire thing. I was like, wow, good job, Mapper. I was not expecting that at all. So props to you there. So hopefully episode 2 does in theory follow suit. I believe episode 2 follows Hiro's character now. Ichiro's first, now Hiro's second. So hopefully it does in theory actually give us that good stuff that Mapper's known for. Hopefully. Because I still genuinely fear for this show sometimes, because I know what it's trying to do. Because it's that kind of, if you know the kind of genre, you just know certain things. It's just like, hopefully it just pulls a punch someone, actually kind of gives you a really freaking good twist. Otherwise it'd be like, maybe it was kind of worth it. I don't know. But anyway, enough of me kind of fearing the worst. Let's actually watch the show and see what it does. So let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin now. And we're starting with that OP once again, because the OP is pretty freaking amazing. Let's face it, the OP is good. Very good, actually. Though not the best of the year, I don't think. I think possibly the best of the year so far actually has to go to Garo's one. Garo's one's fantastic. I love Garo's one. It's simple yet effective. It's just really freaking well done. I think this one's better because of the visuals, and also then Man with the Mission song. But I think Garo actually kind of just edges it out slightly because of how kind of awesome it is. Also would help actually put subtitles on, because that would be a shout actually if I actually put the subtitles on, just in case. You never know, because I didn't actually put them on, because I turned them off to actually kind of do the thumbnails, so I always forget to put them back on. But that time I remembered, oh yeah, the subtitles. I was on the ball that time. Yeah, hopefully Hero's character is not completely generic, as I actually might cry, because he's kind of got to be the antithesis to Chihiro's character. He's got to kind of be, or maybe even actually kind of side with him. I'm not even too sure, but it doesn't seem like if it's going to be that way. But hopefully he's not completely generic, or I might just cry. So it kind of rides on him as well, if you get what I mean. And it rides on him the whole entire experience. Wow. That is not even subtle. That is not even subtle. Jesus freaking Christ, that's like not even subtle. That's like Kubo actually put in it's like Kubo put in a massive amount of Bleach figurines into his next manga. It's just like, it's not even sold, dude. It's actually really good, because I've actually heard really freaking amazing things about it. I'm just kind of keeping my mind open, as they say, treading very carefully. Oh, really? It sounds quite interesting, actually. I think it's hard to watch. It's not even subtle. Just not even subtle. I mean, one of the things that's actually done really freaking damn well is the CG. I didn't really mention that last time, but the CG is actually really well implemented. Surprisingly, because a lot of the time it's actually really kind of jarring. But here it's done very well. Here it's done really freaking damn well. I actually really do like it. The OST is really good as well, actually. The OST is really well implemented. I actually really like it. It feels tension. So the man has the porno touch, as they would say. I guess the most terrifying thing about his character so far is how nonchalant he actually is. Like, he doesn't really have any remorse of what he actually basically did on that whole entirety of that road. It's the most terrifying thing so far about him. Yeah, it's kind of the main thing with him is how nonchalant he actually is. It's that it feeds back into the idea of how someone uses their power. It's nothing new, technically. This whole entire idea is mythos, but it's what people do with said mythos is what makes it kind of a bit more like out of the norm, if you get what I mean. Which is kind of what this show rides upon as well. Is this idea of what they will do with said morality. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't tell me he's going to do that as well. I'm going to kill those two. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. This person's awful. This person's absolutely terrible. Jesus Christ. I mean, they're setting him up to basically make us hate him as the kind of the main thing it's going for, which is not done. Which isn't done out of like kind of. It's done to the point like you're meant to hate him. So when Ichiro and him fight, it kind of makes the whole entire experience of him then taking him down that kind of a bit more satisfying because he's kind of a completely awful person. Hey, how is it going? I don't know. He doesn't feel out of the ordinary, if you get what I mean. He doesn't kind of feel as if he's kind of, I don't know. I'll say after the episode ends, but he's set up for a character you're meant to hate. That's the problem with him. I thought when I first saw him as well. I actually kind of I saw that. I was like, hey, he looks a bit like Yogami as well. I was like, hey, I see similarities there. I wouldn't necessarily call him a very good villain so far, though. He's not. He's not kind of. He's no Kira, as I would say. He's no Kira from JoJo. That's a good villain. That's how you do villains. Even Poochie to an extent as well. Even like all the JoJo villains post post Diavolo is kind of an example of a good villain. Because there's one thing you're meant to do with villains, make him feel real. Villains are people who technically they have their own problems in life. Just they find a way to sort them out. No one just typically falls into a pitfall and just kind of goes that way. It's just they're real people with real problems. So what rides upon his character is who he is as a person beforehand. If you catch my drift. So right now he's kind of alright as a villain. He's set up to be a person you meant to hate, but just so far he isn't exhibiting anything I would say he's kind of anywhere. I mean, I haven't really seen a villain anything better than him so far this year, like in the way of oh my god, he's actually kind of he's no better than anything else. Because I wouldn't really kind of pinpoint a villain that's actually better than him so far. But he's kind of all right as a villain. He's set up. He's set up correctly for then when Ichiro and him fight, it makes the whole entire experience a lot more satisfying when Ichiro defeats him. But he's nothing out of the ordinary. That's the problem. That's the thing. Like that's, and it kind of it could be a detriment to its own series as well. It's the way what it will have to do is characterize its characters to the point and actually kind of play with that morality. Otherwise, you kind of got a good guy versus bad guy scenario, just kind of augmented. I mean, if anything, I think probably the best part of this whole entire episode is actually kind of been Ichiro's kind of his realization he couldn't save her. That's kind of that was done well. What this bit actually, in theory, the one I'm talking about right now, his realization he couldn't save them. That bit's done well because it's kind of like you feel for him because you know he wants to do good, but you couldn't get there in time. But to say, I don't know, I'm not thoroughly convinced just yet on Hero's character. I'm kind of on the fence with him. The OP's good though. I'll give it that. Again, the episode's a strong 7.5 out of 10. I'll get back to it at the end. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too critical. I'm just not too sure. I'm just kind of, I'm not on the kind of the train everyone's saying it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's technically, it's good. It's actually above about a 7, but it isn't kind of 9s and 10s out of 10 so far. It's kind of, it knows what it. I think it's kind of getting its footing so far. But again, yeah, that's the thing. It could. That's what I'm saying. So far, it hasn't done anything out of the ordinary, but it could, in theory, do it by the midpoint. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just kind of speaking as a first impression kind of thing. I'm not saying it's completely off the it's completely off the books. I don't like it because it could in theory improve by the midpoint. It could in theory become something great. But just right now, it's not exhibiting what I would say to be kind of above an 8, 9, 10 out of 10. Because Hero's character so far ain't no Kira. He isn't. Like, my standard of villain is Kira's character. Kira's character is the most impeccable villain I've seen in my life, besides Utsuro from Gintama. Those two are villains that actually feel real. You understand who they are, you understand where they came from, you understand what they're doing, and it's kind of you can see it. They're villains. There's something shaped them. But thus far, from what I can tell with Hero's character, is the fact he doesn't kind of have compassion. That's so far, unless I missed detail, but it's kind of just he's just kind of don't put Bieber in here. Don't put Bieber in here. Don't say that. That would kill me inside. We actually mentioned the word Bieber is better than Kira. Kira is the most impeccable villain this whole entire generation, besides Utsuro from Gintama. They're two amazing villains. That's what I'm saying. The standards for villains is quite tough because there are so many good ones. To stand out is quite difficult. That's why a lot of series tend to kind of fall apart because their villains aren't that good. Because you kind of fall into the pitfall of it just being good guy versus bad guy because the bad guy's got a power and it's the problem this series has. It's the fact of two people have got a power. What do they do with it? It's the morality behind it. You're going to have the idea of a person that's good, a person who's bad. That's it. That's what the problem is. The series isn't going beyond that whole entire idea. It's just kind of riding on that thing. But it's what it would do with it. That's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not writing the series off completely because it could improve by the midpoint. But I'm saying right now, it's just. What from Gintama? Utsuro's an impeccable villain. He's one of the best. He's probably the best. Utsuro's an amazing villain. I mean, I like him a lot. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I think he's an amazing villain because he He was shaped by something. He's a real person, real problems. That's the kind of thing. I just don't know about Hiro's character. Hello. But I don't know. It's a good episode. I liked it still. But I just don't think it's not hit the high points yet. It's not straight fire anime just yet. It ain't I have zero idea what the other anime I can compare it to this whole entire year so far. I would actually honestly say it's actually even better. I don't know, actually. I don't know, because Utsuro just has something that it kind of makes him... I think it's the person who preceded him or beforehand is what makes him such a great villain afterwards. I think that's the whole entire thing, because who he was before, what he is now, it kind of makes the whole entire thing with him kind of feel a little bit more real. But then, in theory, I don't know. I like Utsuro a lot better because I think he's just a lot more real. And I think Kira's a lot more real as well. I don't know. Villains are hard to pull off. I can admit that. Villains are impossibly difficult because you've got to do something to make them stand out. Otherwise, you've got yourself a kind of the same thing. The same thing happens in film. How many films can you think of that have good villains? Like, it's a very hard thing to do. But I'm not disregarding the series because it could, in theory, it's the characterization that kind of will save the series. Because if they actually develop Hiro's character, they actually have a motive to what he's doing, then yeah, he's good. He's good. Otherwise, he's kind of just there. He's kind of the roadblock for Ichiro's character. He's the kind of character that Ichiro has to kind of conquer to actually kind of make him to be the hero. That's the problem. Hola, ¿cómo estás? There you go. I hope that works. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm very shy when I speak Spanish. But, I mean, yeah, it's just... I like it. That's the problem. I can see what they're doing. But, yeah, I don't want... Because to say that, it's just kind of... He's not exhibiting anything. He's just kind of just doing his thing so far. Again, he might improve. But it's just... what will save the series is the kind of characterization that might actually, in theory, be the kind of saving point. Because so far... Ichiro's character was actually very well characterized. Like, you can see where he was and where he is now, and actually the whole entire thing was very well done. That's why his whole entire thing was great. I liked his character. It wasn't like 10s out of 10s levels of good, but it was great. I liked it. Hiro's character, on the other hand, kind of feels as if he's just a villain for the sake of being a villain. Like, he needs to do something. Like, it could in theory improve. It could in theory just become even better than it was beforehand. He could in theory actually have a reason to why he's fighting. So again, I'm not disregarding it because in theory it's only episode 2, and episode 2 you don't really get too much from 2 episodes because it's just a stepping stone for what's coming in the future. But at the same time, it's 11 episodes. So you've got to establish the characters, you've got to actually build the characters, actually then you have to have the characters fight within that very short space of time. It might in theory actually backfire. I'm not too sure. But that's kind of the major thing. So, going back to the episode itself. I mean, I liked it. I think it's actually a great episode. It was very well constructed. Like, as an episode itself, as anime, it was really freaking well constructed. It's actually really well done. The OST was great. The animation was great. The actual use of everything else in the scenes were great. But what the detriment was is the fact that certainly I'm not kind of buying his character just yet. It could just be me. I'm not too sure. I've seen better out there, done better. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. It's just he needs to have some kind of other motive, because what I can tell so far, maybe I miss a detail. I'm not too sure. If I have, then do point out. I'm not actually gonna. Oh, if I'm wrong, I do apologize. But it just kind of seems he just doesn't care. Like, he's just kind of a very closed person. Like, in essence, he just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care if someone else he doesn't know dies, but he cares more if a manga character dies. It kind of tells you there and then what kind of character he really is. You don't really need to know more, but in theory, if you get to know why he's that way, then in theory, you might actually kind of buy why he's a villain. It might in theory work that way. That's the whole entire thing, because he has to kind of have a reason to why he's that way. He can't just be that way for no reason. He has to kind of have some kind of thing, which then in theory actually makes him that way. Otherwise, you can't, as I said beforehand, you literally just can't fall into being a character like that. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel right. It just feels very left field. The same thing happening in in King's Game, I believe it's called King's Game. The same thing happened there with the girl character. Her character felt left fielded because it had no build up, and it just didn't work. Like, her characters fell apart because you're like, well, no, why is she that way? Him, you can tell there is something going on behind closed doors that we're not just getting right now, which will then save his character actually kind of just not be kind of just there, just kind of be a roadblock, just kind of being a villain, if you get what I mean. I don't know. It's the kind of thing. He's just not exhibiting anything so far. Like, he's just been introduced, so don't say anything. Don't say anything because he's just been introduced. I'm just going by first impressions. I'm just going by what I've seen so far. I'm not saying anything else. I kind of just want to know what he will do, what will happen to him, because you can see now there's an evidence here they are going to fight. Like, he now knows who the enemy is and who he's got to fight. So that's kind of very much apparent. But again, probably as time goes on, we might just in theory kind of get little details, little kind of tidbits that explain his character completely to a point where it actually feels a bit more fleshed out. Because that kind of it kind of rides upon that, if you get what I mean. It kind of you can't just establish two characters and just don't do anything with them. Otherwise, it kind of feeds into the whole entire idea. What's the point? When you could just watch something else, it's a lot better. Then what's the point? Because again, as I said beforehand, this idea of getting this power, what does one person do with it, isn't a new thing. It's a very, 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 very explored idea. But the kind of it's just what it does with it makes it actually stand out. That's the kind of thing. That's what it needs. It needs the kind of what it will do, the morality behind said things. Because again, as I said beforehand, the best thing about this whole entire episode so far was actually Ichiro going to the house and realizing it was too late. That whole entire thing was well done because you knew he wanted to save them. You knew he wanted to actually kind of fix what was going on here, and he couldn't do it. It was his whole entire character feels more real because of the fact that we know a lot about him in that short space of time. That 10 minutes was amazing characterization because it told you everything you needed to know about his character and to why we actually have to feel for him. It worked amazingly. Like, it was one of those things. That's what I'm saying. This series does have its kind of very strong points. But I thought they might do the same thing with Hiro's character, but Hiro's character kind of just didn't do anything. He was just there. He was just there doing his thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could in theory be completely incorrect. I do not want to slate the series. Do not think I'm slating it because I'm not. I'm just kind of establishing my own kind of gripes to the series that kind of do in theory kind of don't really hinder my enjoyment. I kind of still enjoy the series, just don't really think about it, the kind of wider prospect of it. I don't know. Because again, I don't know. Because again, because I would say Kira's a lot better, but Kira had a lot more time to develop. He was introduced in episode 12, and he actually had a lot more time to actually have a character arc. So here's one's a terrible example to give. Same thing with Utsuro. Utsuro had a long time. In fact, actually, he was introduced at the end of you know what I mean. Yeah, the time he was given, it was kind of you knew what he was, you knew who he was, what he was doing, and everything like that. Utsuro's character was fleshed out because of what happened before. It was fleshed out. But hopefully, it does, in theory, do something. Because if it doesn't, then the series isn't worth it. And that's the kind of major thing. But it's episode 2. It's very, very short. I want to give this series a 3-episode rule, to be honest. I wouldn't even give this episode a 6-episode rule because there isn't a point not watching the series. You have to see where it goes to get an opinion. Because otherwise, if you drop it way too soon, it does something later into the series, then what's the point? Like, you kind of miss the golden point. I mean, yeah, you have to kind of trudge through the kind of the not so great parts, but maybe the bit at the end is actually kind of worth it. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I wouldn't drop this series. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what it does because in theory it can actually do something. I don't know. But hopefully throughout my whole entire explanation, you know what I mean. You kind of understand. I'm just not saying the series. I'm going by a first impressions aspect, which kind of is the whole entire idea of what I see in front of me so far. It's just, I'm not kind of slating the series just yet. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just kind of saying it needs to kind of do certain things. I think Ichiro's character is completely fine. I think his character is perfect. His character doesn't need anything more. If he gets any more development, then by Jingo, it'd be amazing. But Hero's character is the one that has to concentrate on, because otherwise, it just won't work. It just won't. Like, if he's just going to be the way he is and that's it, then I don't know. It just I need him to be fleshed out. I need him to actually kind of. I know I'm not going yet. Don't worry. I've just kind of explained my points, just because I fear that people just don't understand what it means. I just explain my points very well, but I don't know. It's just I like the construction of the series. The construction of the series is really well done. Map is really going out of their way this season with this anime. You can tell, you can tell they're doing it because the CGI is really well implemented. The OST is great. That whole entire scene with his friend, when you kind of think, is something going wrong with him? Is he not what he thinks he is? That whole entire scene was really freaking amazing because the OST really built up this whole entire suspense. This kind of, what's the word? Its idea of suspense is what I was looking for. So suspense. It builds its whole entire suspense in your head, only for it to go, oh, I'm just joking. It was really well done because it kind of just plays with your perception. Like, okay, does he know something we don't? It's a really nice way of kind of playing with perception as an audience. I liked it. The OST later on in the episode, when you go to the actual house, really well done because it was kind of one of those ones that the OST really kind of builds up this deplorability. Is that even a word? Like, yeah, you know what I mean. This kind of this hatred for him. Like, the episode really does establish very well that you're meant to hate this character. Like, it really does. Like, you do hate him so goddamn much. He goes into an innocent family's home and just murders them with no remorse. Like, you can tell you just despise this person. You really want him to kind of just piss off and just not do what he's doing. So it's really well done in that aspect. And then that whole entire meeting between Ichiro and Hiro was actually really well done as well, because it kind of just, it builds this idea of, oh, I want to see that fight. I want to see what he's going to do next week. I want to see that whole entire thing. So the construction, you may ask me, the construction of the series is amazing. I love it. It's an amazingly constructed series. Like, it really is. But it's the characters, which kind of do scare me a tiny bit. I don't know, because there are better ways to explain how a villain works. I mean, a lot more shonen villains had a lot more time to develop. That's a major thing. This one had 11 episodes, or now 10. Well, actually, no, 9. So it doesn't technically have a lot of time, but it could pull something off. It could do it. I believe in this series. I don't want to kind of disregard it just yet, because I believe in theory it can do something, because it does actually have a glimmers of brilliance in it from a kind of a writing aspect. From a production aspect, it's Mappa's kind of vision brought to life. It's like, it's just, they're amazing at what they do. I love them. So it's like nothing going wrong there. But what do you mean by that? What do you mean by preference of genre? But yeah, I mean, episode 3 might actually be a completely amazing episode. This one's probably a solid 7.8 out of 10, I would say. Like, solid 7.8. Just kind of rides that 8 almost. Like, it's kind of getting to that station in the train station that's 8 out of 10, just not there yet. It just has to kind of go a little bit more kind of in the middle area of the bit between 7 and a bit between 8. So yeah, I mean, so don't get the wrong idea. I do not hate this series at all. I actually really do like the series. I have gripes of how characters are kind of done, because I've seen villains done very well, and it's kind of one of those things that it grinds my gears when they're not done very well, because it's not an easy thing to do, but it's just, I like a good villain because you kind of get behind them. Well, not in that aspect, but you know what I mean. You kind of feel as if you want that character to kind of meet their demise. Like, not in the sense of get behind them, because if that's the case, then they actually have to do a really freaking lot to do that. But you get what I mean. Like, it's one of those ones that it just works if it's done a lot better. But I don't know. It just might. It might improve. It could do something amazing. I believe in this series. I believe in Inuyashiki. I believe this could in theory be Mappa's magnum opus. Like, it could in theory do it. But I don't want to kind of sing its praise just yet. I don't want to say, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's anime of the year. It's anime of the season, because there's a lot more doing a lot better than this. I mean, No one's speaking about Konohana Kitan, and that series has done a lot of things very freaking good. I mean, even Juni Tyson to an extent has done a lot of things very good. There's a lot of series out there that no one's talking about that's actually done a lot more, and it's kind of just, it's a bit depressing. I'm like, oh, why is no one speaking about these series? I mean, even Songatsu as well. It's a returning show, but man, not really. Kind of. I kind of tend to avoid those series because they don't interest me anymore. They're all the same. Besides Chivalry of the Fell Knight, that series is really good, but other than that, no. But yeah, hopefully you get what I mean. I don't want to kind of paint the aspect I don't like the series because I do like it. I have problems, if you get what I mean. I don't ride the idea of, oh my god, it's amazing, because if that's the case, then what's the point? Because you burn out by the end of it, I fear. Because if you keep your expectations to a kind of a middle part, you kind of then will be surprised. That's how I've done anime recently. Just keep your opinions kind of like that, to a point where the anime just does that, and it kind of makes the whole experience a lot better. Otherwise, if you kind of just go, oh my god, it's amazing straight away, it kind of just, you don't feel that anticipation for something to do even more. That's what I always find so far. I did it last year a lot. That's why I kind of just stopped it, because I thought if I do this too much, it just doesn't work anymore. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it does something. Hopefully. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be me for today. I need to go sit down for a bit and sleep, because I've just come home from university and I'm actually very tired. Come home from university analyzing a film. So I'm pretty freaking tired. So anyway, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to stay a little bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But until tomorrow, I think I'll probably go Kino's Journey tomorrow actually, and just probably do a catch up on Girls Last Tour, like as a kind of a catch-up session, I think. Same thing with Gintama as well. I might just do Gintama as a 2-episode structure from now on. I don't know. Dragon Ball Super's alright. It's got its episodes, I think. It's one of those ones that I don't think it kind of... It's got its problems. That's my favorite word of the day. It's got its problems. I wouldn't say it's a childhood ruiner, to be honest. It's just maybe people kind of imagine it to be something completely different than it actually is, and the same thing happens with Dragon Ball Z as well. I don't know. It's a matter of preference, really, when you think about it. But anyway, I'm gonna lie down for a bit. My eyes are actually killing me. So until next time, see you guys later. Bye for now.